Joe, that time for skating again. The last few weeks we've been having lessons on the ramp. If you're approaching the ramp for the first time, what are some of the things you need to know? And I thought today, well, you know, we've had a little bit of basics for a while. Let's get into the meaty stuff. And we're going to have some advanced tricks. And Richard Arthur's in with us today to comment on the footage we've got. How are you, Richard?
Hey, James.
What are some of the tricks we're going to see?
Well, we'll see a few pivots, a couple of 50-50s, disasters, quite a few tricks there.
Mm-hmm. And you've got the good oil on how to do them all.
Got the good oil, yeah, we've got it all happening here.
Okay, let's roll that tape, and then Richard's going to explain exactly what's happening.
All right, this is Chris. There's a board slide there. There's a bit of an Ollie disaster. And a backside air. Yeah, then over the spine. Another 50-50. He gets his weight up behind the ramp there. All right, we're going to see a frontside Ollie. No-handed air. And an Ollie to tail. And that's a frontside rock and roll. You've got to get your weight right up on those rock and rolls.
He lost it a bit at the end.
Lost it a little bit, yeah, a bit of a sketch.
And who's this dashing skater, Richard?
Some guy we roped in. There's a frontside pivot. Notice how I get the weight up over the top of the coping. There's a 3/4 pivot to axle. Now, it's important when you're doing these tricks not to lean too far into the curve, but make sure you get your weight over the coping. That was a disaster there. Right, not a very good one either. That was a 3/4 pivot. It was a 3/4 blunt pivot. And another one in there.
Whoops,
bit of an accident.
Missed it at the end there.
See, that's an example of not using your weight in the right way.
Right.
Okay, you got Chris here. Now this is like jump ramp stuff. He's going over the ridge or the hump, and grabs a palm air, grabbing the bottom of the board. Another one here. Make sure you lean forward with these. You've got to virtually keep your weight directly over the skateboard or parallel with the ramp, like a trampoline. All right, there's another one grabbing behind the foot. Notice how he's keeping his weight nice and balanced over his board.
Out of these tricks that we're seeing, I mean, what's the sort of first one you might go for after you've got your basic safeties together?
Yeah, well, the first one is probably axle stalls, which progress into 50-50s, which is the sliding one you see here.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a pretty basic one. Then you'll probably go rock and rolls. Ollies will come, which is this one, a little bit later.
Right.
And an Ollie to tail, which will come a little bit later as well.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, that's probably the first trick you do.
Some good skating, eh?
Some good skating.
What do you think of that centre out there at St Mary's?
That's fantastic. You'll see a lot more of that coming out into Australia.
Mm-hmm.
That's from the States. And those smaller ramps offer the facility for kids to learn tricks and not hurt themselves in the meantime.
Yeah, it's not quite as dangerous. It's going to have that vertical drop.
Yeah, that's right. And they can put that onto the big ramps virtually straight after that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
right.
that's great.
Okay, well, thanks for coming, Richard. Helping us with that. And we'll have more skate next week. In fact, we'll be looking in detail at that centre at St Mary's, the indoor ramp, which you've just seen there. See you next week.